Have you ever noticed that when a video starts with someone making coffee, it usually has a pretty good story to it? Keep watching. I don't know what you can see. I am off to an early morning mission. I don't know if it's gonna work, to tell you the truth. Yeah, planned missions is part of what I have to get used to, because when you go for advanced drone missions, and even any other drone mission with a licensed drone, you're supposed to have a checklist, you're supposed to have a mission plan, plan procedures, all that kind of stuff. Well, right now I got about 20 minutes to the event I'm trying to capture. It looks good. It looks good so far. But they put roadblocks here so I don't run over their cables. Holy shit. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I can handle it. Okay, I gotta get down to the river now. Alright, I made it down here. I'm at the accidental beach in Edmonton. Well, look at it. It's white, snowy beach. But the reason I'm here is because sunrise in Edmonton today is going to be at 8:10. And now I have a nice view of the downtown buildings, especially if I get my drone up in the air. And my idea was to just find a good spot, park the drone there, and keep it in the same position for about, let's say, 15 minutes or so. And then put all that footage together into a time lapse. Because you will see the reflection of the sunrise in the glass of the building. That was my idea. So I better stop talking right now because it's time sensitive, obviously. I'll check my phone here again just to make sure. It is 7:54, so I got like 10 minutes. Can you see that? I got like 10 minutes to sunrise, and I definitely want to be up there a little bit earlier, be positioned and stuff. Did I say 7:54? So it's like 15 minutes I have. But I still have to prepare my controller, have to make sure my phone is set on charging because it's still cold out here, even though I don't think it's even below zero. It's actually really, really good compared to what we had. So, all right, I got the drone up there. I can see it from here. It's very, very good and safe. There we go. Now it's just a waiting game. It's got a beautiful view of the city. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. Yeah, it's all frozen around here, and you won't see a whole lot of that on my footage. But today the point is to capture the sunrise, and right now my battery is at 97%, so it should be up there for quite a while. However, you gotta be aware that when the drone is hovering, it actually uses more battery power than when it's flying forward or sideways or when you're moving it. I think that's because it has to constantly make corrections in order to stay in the exact same position, which is controlled by GPS. Yeah, what else can I tell you? This is a planned mission. This is actually the first time I do any kind of time lapse intentional like that, except for perhaps those videos where I have filmed myself building something or assembling a part on the bicycle or whatever. This is different. This is a natural phenomenon, and whatever I learned today, well, there's always tomorrow or the day after, you know. We might repeat this exact same mission again, or I might do it from a different viewpoint. Right now there's absolutely no difference. I notice that my battery is going down rather fast. I mean, it's at 80% now. Still hot. That's good. it's a clear day. Little bit cloud over there, a little bit, I don't know if you call it hazy. Yeah, the sky isn't exactly blue, but I mean, in the time lapse you should be able to see a change. That's what I'm hoping for. I got an ND8 filter on there, so that kind of, I thought it was a good middle way, but in order to get the exposure right, I just put it on automatic settings, because if this was turning out to be a bright sunny day, then in the pro mode, you know, you start off with underexposing everything, and then when the sun keeps coming up, then it would definitely be all whited out, like overexposed. So that's why I put it on automatic setting and let it adjust itself. Yeah, we're down to 50%. Yeah, I'm facing away from the sun because I was hoping for the reflection to really bring it home. There's a Canadian glass building there. You should be able to see a reflection in there, and even in the taller buildings. All right, it's all over. It's all over. We ran out of power at about, I want to say, 19 or so percentage of battery power. The drone decided to come home, and I didn't cancel it because I don't want to lose my drone in the water. It's 8:17, so yeah, we should have had the sunrise in that picture. Now the sun today isn't really that bright, and from here it's hidden behind the trees, and of course I was facing away from the sun, just knowing that usually it gives you much better lighting conditions, especially during the early or the late afternoon hours. So I have to be honest with you. The way I feel right now, I feel like maybe this is going to be a disappointment because, yeah, to me the picture looked exactly the same at the beginning as at the end, but I will find out when I put this all together on the computer and then accelerate it, you know, so that it's an actual time lapse, so that you see within, say, 30 seconds or so, you can see what the drone recorded in 20 minutes or whatever time it was up there. Now is the time to go home and work on this time lapse, and I will explain to you a little bit on how I do this. Hey there. Made it home safely, just in case you were wondering. Now let's talk about this time lapse. Some of you probably have more experience with this than I do. I'm open for feedback on how to do time lapse videos properly, and have done some research during this experiment. Most time lapses are done by taking only one picture at a certain interval over a certain period of time. I imagine there'd be an advantage at selecting a faster shutter speed than you would for video, because motion blur is not desirable in a stationary time lapse. However, for my experiment, I simply recorded 18 minutes of continuous video. To get the time lapse effect, I will simply accelerate the playback by squeezing this video into about 20 seconds. At this point, I'm not aware of any downsides to this, except perhaps that I'll be dumping 90% of the footage and only keep a select number of frames. Let me take you through the process in Final Cut Pro. We're going to import Selected, and there they go. Now to start with, I'm going to take all the clips, each one, and line them up. Now the problem I have with my time lapse so far, see, when I play this at a normal speed, it looks okay. It looks fine. However, I'll show you what happens if I play this a little bit faster. And we're just going to use this feature here. See, when I play along like this, you can see that the picture, like, it moves a lot. So to start off with, I will select all the clips. I think I can do that. Because right now my video is 16 minutes long. That's pretty much the time the drone's been up there in real time. So we're going to reset the speed, but I'm going to do it with this custom thing and just choose, say, 300%. Return. There we go. Let's see how this looks if I play this at that speed. Yeah, you can see movement. Yeah, you could see a lot of movement. I'm not sure if this is going to be successful, but however, I have a stabilizing effect on this program. So we're going to use it on all the clips. Even this one. Alright, right now the program is analyzing the clips for dominant motion, and it's going to correct the stabilization. The problem is that my drone is very small, and when you go to higher altitudes with it, you will have wind up there, and that moves the drone around, and it takes time for the drone to correct its position. So that's what's going on the whole time up there. That's why I'm not sure if the DJI Mini 2 is the right drone to do a time lapse like this, but it's worth finding out. So let's wait for this to finish, and then we're going to go further. Now that the clips are all stabilized, I can tell this by the check mark up here on the upper left corner. I will save them as is, as one long clip that is 5 minutes 31 seconds long. Downtown time lapse, and I call it downtown time lapse 1 because I'm going to use the same project to do my next clip. Now I can always see the progress up here. It's saving. And I'm going to start playing this, and right off the bat I can still see the movement. However, let's see what it looks like if I play this at 5 times the speed. Well, you can see how it's moving around. Once again, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we're going to give it a whirl. Right now I cut down a 16-minute clip to about 5 minutes. I want to get this down to about 30 seconds, and hopefully I can make it as stable as possible. This looks interesting already because the ice is floating pretty fast down there. However, the problem I'm having is that this was supposed to be a sunrise, and the sun was rising from opposite the skyline. So I was hoping to see the reflection of the sunlight change inside these windows and even in the river. I don't know if I succeeded, because so far I haven't been able to watch the entire clip. Now this would come pretty close, but I hope we can get this a little bit more stable. Allow me to skip ahead at this point. I did this in several stages, always stabilizing the clips some more while shortening the duration, and each time it seemed like the movement was amplified. So what you're watching now, that's the end result. As you can see, the big problem with this time lapse, besides there not being much interesting change in the picture, is stabilization. The DJI Mini 2 weighs under 250 grams, which is a big advantage when it comes to flying pretty much unrestricted. But it also makes this drone unstable in the wind, and that is especially noticeable when trying to hover in an exact position. In my experiment, whether it was just the time and day I picked or the position of the drone, not a lot of interesting changes happening. I'd like to experiment more with time lapse, but probably won't do it with Mavis. However, I did go back to the same location a day and a half later to capture the scene in a different light. Hi there. Well, I'm back down here again, the Accidental Beach, one of my favorite places to fly the DJI Mini 2. The reason is because right now it's the sunset time and the Mavis is already up in the air, way up there somewhere. Now it's just a waiting game again. I'm basically going to wait until the battery goes down and the drone comes back to me. That's all I have to do. Mind you, I have to keep an eye on the controller because this afternoon, believe it or not, there were some birds that were checking out the drone and I was getting a little worried, but I had my fingers on the sticks ready to act, because one tip I have for you, if that ever happens to you when you're flying your drone, go straight up, because birds cannot do that. So in case a bird tries to attack your drone, just go straight up. Now I gotta pay attention to what my Mavis is doing. Wanna have a look? Yeah, this is what it sees right now. The battery is still at 80%. That's pretty good, but I don't see a lot of bright light there, so I probably have to boost this up a little bit in the editing. Anyways, I was here for the sunset. That was the goal. So I'll talk to you later. We'll see how this works out. Let me know what you think about my failed time-lapse attempts. Have you been successful creating time-lapse videos with the DJI Mini drone? What about a bigger one? Also, feel free to educate me on the downsides of simply recording video rather than timed photographs. I'm trying to learn something new and pass it on during the process. And hey, I'm a YouTuber, and as that, I'm supposed to get you to click the like button. That'll do the magic and make my channel more discoverable to more people. I hope you enjoyed it enough to check out some of my other drone adventures in this playlist.